Cracked carbon frames and strict bolts are a cyclist's worst nightmare, but they are completely avoidable with the right tool. Today we are finding out which bike torque wrench actually deserves a permanent spot in your toolbox. I have spent the last month putting 5 of the most popular bike torque wrenches through a grueling series of tests to see which ones protect your bike and which ones are just expensive paperweights. Stick around until number 1 to see the wrench I am now personally using for all my own carbon frame builds. 5. SUERCUP Dual Direction Adjustable Drive Click Torque Wrench. I picked up this entry-level model because I wanted to see if a truly budget-friendly torque wrench could hold its own against the heavyweights in a home shop environment. On paper, it boasts some decent specifications, featuring a reversible ratcheting head that allows for dual direction torquing, which is occasionally useful for reverse-threaded components. It also comes in a hard plastic case with a decent assortment of bits that cover the basic hex and torque sizes you will encounter on a standard bicycle frame. During my initial testing on some rugged alloy components, the wrench performed its basic duties without completely falling apart. The handle is knurled for grip, and the ratcheting gear mechanism is adequately smooth when simply spinning bolts down to their base tension. I found the length of the wrench to be sufficient for generating leverage on medium-sized fasteners, and swapping out the included bits was relatively quick and painless during a basic bike build. However, the cracks in the armor begin to show the moment you try to set your specific torque values. The primary scale is laser engraved onto the shaft, but the contrast is exceptionally poor, making it incredibly difficult to read the exact numbers under the harsh or dim lighting typical of most garages. I found myself having to constantly tilt the wrench and squint just to make sure I wasn't accidentally dialing in an extra Newton meter, which is incredibly frustrating when you are trying to work efficiently. The most glaring flaw I discovered during my testing, though, is the quality of the tactile feedback at low torque settings. 4. Wera Kraftform 7515 Torque Screwdriver. Wera is an absolute legend in the tool industry, known for manufacturing some of the most premium, beautifully engineered hand tools on the planet. I went into this test with incredibly high hopes for this screwdriver-style torque tool, envisioning it as the ultimate luxury item for precisely dialing in seat post collars, brake lever clamps, and front derailleur mounts. Right away, the famous Kraftform handle design stands out. It is ergonomically contoured to fit perfectly into the palm of your hand, featuring hard and soft zones that make it an absolute joy to hold during long maintenance sessions. Adjusting the torque feels incredibly precise, relying on a sophisticated internal mechanical system that screams German engineering. And the bits lock into the magnetic chuck with a deeply satisfying, ultra-secure snap. Unfortunately, once I transitioned from admiring the tool to practically using it on a bike, its severe limitations became glaringly obvious. The torque range on the 7515 model is incredibly narrow, essentially pigeonholing it as a one-trick pony in a comprehensive home shop. You are severely restricted in what you can actually work on, meaning you will inevitably have to buy a second or third torque wrench just to complete a standard bicycle overhaul. Another deeply annoying drawback I experienced during testing relates to the screwdriver handle shape itself when you are trying to apply maximum force. While the ergonomic grip is wonderfully comfortable for light, repetitive tasks, once your hands get even slightly sweaty or coated in standard bike grease, gripping a cylindrical screwdriver handle at higher torque settings becomes a slippery, frustrating mess. You simply cannot generate the same effortless leverage that you can with a traditional ratcheting lever arm. 3. Park Tool Ratcheting Torque Wrench. We are finally moving onto the podium with a legendary name that is practically synonymous with professional bicycle mechanics. When I brought this iconic blue tool into the testing lineup, I expected nothing less than absolute shop-level reliability. And I am happy to report that it absolutely delivered on that promise from the very first bolt. The build quality of this wrench is purely industrial and designed to survive years of daily abuse. It feels incredibly solid and weighty in the hand, featuring a robust all-metal construction that inspires immediate confidence. The ratcheting mechanism is buttery smooth, offering exactly the right amount of back drag to keep your fasteners perfectly secure while you are navigating the tight, awkward spaces around suspension linkages and water bottle cages. Testing this tool on bottom brackets, crank arms, and heavier suspension pivots was an absolute dream. The torque setting dial, located at the base of the handle, is brilliantly intuitive, turning smoothly to your desired number and locking securely into place. This locking feature guarantees that you never accidentally shift your calibration mid-job, ensuring your final torque value is exactly what you set it to be. What really impressed me compared to the lower-ranked options was the undeniable quality of the tactile feedback. Unlike the vague budget wrenches, the click on this Park tool wrench is a loud, satisfying, and unmistakable snap. You can feel the physical break straight through your palm and fingers, absolutely guaranteeing that you stop turning at the precise moment you reach your designated tension, even in a noisy workshop. It is undeniably a staple for any serious home mechanic who wants professional-grade results. 2. MARQUE Adjustable Torque Allen Wrench. This T-handle style wrench completely caught me off guard and quickly became the biggest surprise of my entire testing process. Despite its unconventional shape compared to standard ratcheting wrenches, it rapidly evolved into my absolute go-to tool for all routine daily maintenance tasks and quick bolt checks before heading out for a ride. The design of the MARQUE wrench is brilliantly simple and highly effective. The T-handle shape naturally provides incredible balanced leverage, allowing you to easily apply consistent torque using the weight of your palm and the strength of your fingers. This ergonomic approach completely eliminates wrist strain and drastically reduces the chances of the tool slipping out and stripping a delicate titanium bolt head. This specific tool is perfectly calibrated to cover the highly essential 4, 5, and 6 Nm ranges. In the world of modern cycling, these three settings account for roughly 90% of the critical bolts on a carbon road or mountain bike. From securing your carbon stem faceplates to dialing in your seat post clamps and brake levers, this single tool effortlessly handles almost everything you need for quick adjustments. Testing this tool in a real-world scenario felt incredibly efficient and streamlined. Because the most common hex bits store neatly right inside the handle itself, and the torque adjustment dial is instantly accessible, I found myself breezing through comprehensive bolt checks in half the time it took with a standard ratcheting wrench. It removes all the friction of setting up a complex tool for a simple job. 1. LEXIVON Bike Torque Wrench, specifically the LX191 kit. After putting dozens of tools through the ringer, this wrench stands entirely in a class of its own. It is an absolute masterclass in mechanical precision, undeniable value, and flawless performance, easily outperforming tools that cost 3 times as much at your local bike shop. Right out of the box, the presentation and build quality of the LEXIVON kit absolutely scream premium. It arrives in a rugged, custom-fitted protective case that is packed with every single CNC machined bit you could possibly need for modern bicycles. It includes an exhaustive array of torques and hex heads tailored specifically for the intricate hardware found on modern drivetrains, hydraulic brakes, and advanced suspension systems. The calibration on this tool is nothing short of flawless, which is the most critical factor in a torque wrench. It arrives with its own traceable certificate of calibration directly from the factory. More importantly, during my own independent strain gauge testing, the LX191 consistently hit its torque targets with an incredibly tight tolerance, proving it is a precision instrument that you can trust with your most expensive carbon fiber dream builds. Setting the torque on the LEXIVON is an absolute joy that takes mere seconds. The wrench features a brilliant high-contrast yellow micro-adjustment scale that is highly visible even in a dimly lit garage. Furthermore, the spring-loaded locking collar snaps firmly into place with authority, guaranteeing zero drift or accidental adjustments while you are forcefully torquing down crucial suspension linkages or delicate carbon aero bars. The tactile and audible feedback provided by this wrench are absolute perfection. When you finally reach your exact target torque, the head yields with a sharp, unmistakable, and deeply satisfying click that leaves absolutely zero room for dangerous guesswork.